Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope this video finds you all doing well. Today we're going to play with another one of the new molds that I have. Quite a pretty tray and coaster set, and 5 coasters. I mean, you don't see that. Usually you see 3 or 4, but this one actually comes with 5, but we're only going to pour 4 today. And we're going to pour the tray. It's really pretty. I love the flower design. This looks more like that flower you see depicted like in I don't know, what's the name of that Hawaiian flower? Does anybody know? Leave it in the comments down there. My brain just shut off. Goodness gracious. This early in the video and my brain shut off. I apologize. Here's hoping that it turns back on quickly. Oh, otherwise this is not going to go so well. Okay. Let me grab the colorants here because I was going to do one thing and then another and then another. But I did want to go take the gold chrome powder and go over the fine detail in the center. And we're going to do that, I think. Now, of course the detail is much larger in the tray portion than in the little coasters. What I do wish they would done, though, is in the coaster found a way to do kind of the same design. Because the one in the tray kind of, it looks almost like grass. It starts out wide and it comes to a point where in the coaster they just made like a line. It's still cute. It is. But I have a mild form of OCD and the two look completely mismatched to me, which may be what actually causes the problem later in this video. You'll see. But I've chosen these 3 colors. It's a black, a dark cyan, and kind of a it's like a ochre, I believe, a light ochre. I can't read to see what the sides of the jars say, y'all, so you'll have to forgive me. I do know that this is a dark cyan, though. I believe that's the one I picked, is the dark cyan. But yeah. Okay, and then the black. And then at first I grabbed a light orange. Was not the color I meant to grab out of the box. And I'm realizing as I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's not the right color. The color I wanted is the beige. But I did grab absolutely the wrong color, and that one's kind of like I said, it's like a light ochre, but it says it's a light orange. But we are grabbing the beige now. Like I said, I didn't start out well. And here we go. Here's the beige. And we are going to be using just epoxy today. Okay. I paused it for a moment because I remembered I needed to put on some gloves, and one of these days I will figure out where the camera is located when I'm making these videos. I really need to get the one set up that my son bought me for Mother's Day, but I'm just having a hard time finding a mount for it. If anybody knows of a good desk mount to mount a small handheld video camcorder, please let me know. Please let me know, because the only thing I'm finding on Amazon is stuff for phones, and it's an actual camcorder, so it's just one of those little mini handheld ones. Now, I started out with probably the best idea at the end of this video. You'll see this is probably the best idea, but I have ADD, and the tediousness of this was bad. And so I went ahead and, yeah, you can see it is definitely going on there. I changed my mind about that. I said, okay, that's too much. This is going to take forever. We'll do it with the chrome markers in the end, because I think the chrome would be pretty, the shiny from the marker. So we're just going to go ahead. I've got the resin mixed up. I have it split in 3 parts. In total, I mixed, let me see here, 800, 1,000. By the end of this, I mixed about 1,200 mLs of resin, because I mixed 1 big full cup. I mixed a third of the other cup, and I had to mix a third to a half again. So it would take between 1,200 and 1,400 mLs of epoxy. Don't ask me what that is in ounces. I really don't want to do the conversion in my head right now. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do the conversion while I'm mixing up these colorants. So let me see. That's 8 ounces, 10 ounces. So 12 to 14 ounces. I'm pretty sure that's how that works out. Watch, I'm going to Google it later and go, ooh, I was wrong. But I'm just going to give, a healthy little squirt of each one of these colors into the epoxy. And now I put quite a bit in here, and there's still the beige and the dark cyan they're still pretty translucent, which I was okay with. I was okay with that, but these colors aren't as pigmented as I would hope they would be for their price. I may have to go the more costly route and get much more expensive ones to get the pigment, because I did put quite a bit. I didn't even do drops. I did like squirts into here, and it was still translucent. And like I said, I'm okay with the translucent. I'm not mad at it. It just wasn't quite what I was going for. In hindsight, I probably should have just used micas. But I'm going to mix up the black. Now the black, let me tell you, the black was definitely opaque. Mercy me, was it opaque. And I used the same amount of the black as I did the other 2 colors. So I don't know. Some are just more pigmented than the others, I guess. Yeah. It's okay, though. I'm happy with the colors. Now, the original plan was do a thin line of black, then a thin line of the cyan, and then a thin line of the beige. And then I was going to run a thin line of clear around that, and then repeat the steps until I got to the center, and then give it a solid clear push. I didn't have a cup that gave me enough control to do that. And right, as you can see right here, I struggled. Right above what you can't see there, I've mounted 2 shelves onto my computer desk. Probably going to have to take those down, because some of these molds that I've been using lately are much larger. And that specific little lip right there gets really in my way. But yeah, it ended up not getting poured the way I wanted to, because I ran out of paper cups, and I've got to repurchase some when I get paid again. I need to get some 5 ounces and some 3 ounces. Those would probably be like, or 6 ounces and 3 ounces, excuse me. Those would be like the greatest. And I need to invest in some of the 16-ounce ones for when I'm working with the yep, that stuff. Ceramic resin. There we go. So since I didn't have the cup to pour it the way I wanted to, I went ahead and I just poured, a layer of black, then a layer of the cyan, and then a layer of the beige, and then I hit it all with a clear push. And we're going to see what that does at the end. Making sure I can get this last one filled. Now, I will say I'm not holding out much hope for these coasters, you guys. I really did need those smaller cups for pouring those because I got way too much black. Just way, well, the whole thing across, I feel like I got too much black. I really wish I could have done it in the thinner, I wish I could have done like my original thought process. But you live and learn, right? Don't come unprepared. I mean, I looked over, my alcohol bottle was empty. I searched the house. I ran out of alcohol. Um, and I reached over to grab some wipies. Oh, the wipies were empty. I'm out of wipies. Yeah, this isn't good. So no baby wipes, no alcohol. Yeah, this video was really something. Let me tell you. But I did order alcohol and baby wipes. And I ordered some wood for my next project. We're gonna make something really that I think is gonna turn out really cool together. And yeah. So I went ahead and just pushed the beige right into the center because I mean, why not? At this point, nothing has worked out to plan. By the end of the video, I do have the wipes. The alcohol will not be here for a couple of days. Everything I can get delivered same day, except the alcohol. I even got cookies same day. I mean, can't beat that. It kind of healed the wound of not being able to get the alcohol right away. I love those little frosted Mother's Animal cookies. My favorites used to be the frosted raisin, the iced raisin. They're like a frosted raisin. They're dipped in the frosting like the animal cookies are. And they were by Mother's, but they discontinued them. My dad used to get them, and we weren't allowed to have them. And once in a great while, he would say, "Hey, you want a cookie?" And oh, that was like the highlight of my life. Was my dad gave me one of his special cookies, And but you can't buy them anymore, and it just makes me so sad because they were such good cookies. Everything that's good, they discontinue. I can't find lemon Hostess pies anywhere. Any type of lemon pastry is really next to impossible to find here. This portion of Texas, I'm convinced Texas is broken because I cannot find black licorice. And I love the black licorice red vines. I used to get them in the big tub. Yeah, can't get them here. I can't find black jelly beans at Easter time or any other time. I'm a huge black licorice fan. The only black licorice I have found here, and it is disgusting, is some sort of organic licorice bites. I want to say they're Tom's brand or something, and they are foul. They're not good. And I miss my black licorice. I absolutely love black licorice, but Texas said, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And that makes me sad. How can a place with barbecue like they have it not have black licorice? I mean, Texas, you're broken. You're broken. I will say I have had the worst barbecue I've ever had here in Texas. That I will have to say. But I've also had some of the best barbecue I've ever had here in Texas. So, Mexican food here, not a big thing. I haven't eaten anywhere that has Mexican food that's any good. Okay, I'm going to complain about Texas's food, and we're going to get the rest of this poured. So, I've mixed up some clear, and I'm just going to give each of these a clear push. And then we're just going to let the resin do what resin does and see if it turns out like anything. I'm really not holding out any hope. I'm already disappointed because I couldn't pour it the way I wanted to, and I messed up in the beginning, and it didn't pour as thin as I wanted to, but hey, it's going to do something, right? Get the little coasters pushed. Like I said, I don't hold that much hope for these coasters. There's way too much black in each one, so I feel like the black is probably going to take over completely. Get that scrape down in there. I do love the color combination. That I love. I'm going to do something with these colors again, and fingers crossed it'll turn out much better. But I do love the three colors together. It's super pretty in my opinion. Very elegant. When I think of, elegant, these colors come to mind as a combination. And okay, I'll be back once these have cured up. Okay, they've all cured. I will say they're still very soft. It's only been about 8.5 hours, 8.5 hours. So they are still soft, but they are cured enough that I can pull them out of here. We're going to do the coasters first. Like I said, I do not hold out too much hope for them, but hey, it is what it is, right? And yeah, just as I suspected. Get it carefully peeled, because if I just grab one corner and rip it back like you do when it's cured, it's gonna stretch a mile long because it is still extremely soft. Let me get it laid back down over here. Make sure they're not touching, because they're still at the soft enough point that if they touch, they're more than likely gonna bond. They're not wet by no means. They're dry. They're at that stage where if I was gonna shape them, it would be perfection right now for shaping it into a bowl. But yeah, let's get these other two demolded and then we'll move on to the tray. I'm excited for one of the projects that I have coming up. Fingers crossed, y'all, that it works out, because as we can see here lately, I'm just not having any luck. Oh, goodness me, goodness me. And you'll see what I mean, because this goes from bad to way worse. And I'm going to need y'all's help on something. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Now, I'm looking at this tray, and I'm really curious as to how those lines happened. Because y'all remember, I just basically did, kind of a dirty port in the tray, you know what I'm saying? And, well, similar, not quite, but you know what I mean. And I don't know how that clear managed to push itself all the way out in those separate corners. It doesn't make sense. But it didn't translate to the other side. Go figure. You can tell right through the mold. Did not translate to the other side. I'm going to carefully peel this up. And there we go. Carefully peel it. As you can see, it is still very soft. But it's okay. It's still dry enough. We can peel it up and get to working on the thing. It didn't do much. It really didn't. It didn't do much. In hindsight, I should have just gone ahead and made it a bowl. It would look really cool as a bowl. But you can see how transparent it is in the center. I think that's pretty neat. You can see how transparent the colors are. It almost looks as though the cyan pretty much was eaten. Looked like the black just gobbled it up. I don't know. Yeah, this is what we have. And now we're going to have to fill in all the little bubbles in the center. We're going to have to fill in those little grass tendril thingies that come out. And that's going to be tedious. So I'm going to grab my chrome marker and we'll get started on it. And yeah, I'm not going to make you guys sit through every little bit of it because this video would end up being like 3 hours long. But as I was doing this, the one thing that I noticed is the chrome wasn't laying onto the resin properly. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, oh man, well, this isn't going to work. What else am I going to build? What else am I going to do with it? You know? Now, I don't know if it's because the resin's still so soft if that played into it. It could have. It very well could have. But, this is tedious, you guys. I mean, super tedious because you've got 3 or 4 different sized bubbles in the middle. And you have all those little tendrils. And I didn't think this out very well. I really should have stuck to putting the chrome on, but with the applicator, like I was doing in the very beginning, but not having any alcohol, I scrapped that idea because I had no way to do cleanup. So I thought, well, this will work then because if I can't get alcohol for a few days, I can't put a video on hold for a few days, and I don't have any way to get anywhere. I haven't been outside of my house beyond my back patio in about 2 years now. So I don't even if I had a vehicle, I don't know that I could even go in public anymore. I mean, it's been a long time. My anxiety, I think, has finally won the fight. But, yeah, so the bubbles I thought worked out okay. And then the more I looked at it, the more I realized, hang on, because they are indented in. I thought, oh, I got to be able to get the sides of those. And then trying to get the sides, it was coming out over the sides. Like I said, no alcohol to do cleanup with. It was a SHIT show. You know what I'm saying. A whole chit show. But you'll see now what I mean by it just wasn't going on right. Once I get done with these little spots here in the center, and I move on to doing the little, I don't know, grassy feeler pieces. I don't know what those things are ever called in flowers. I'm not a botanist. I mean, and a botanist may not know nothing about flowers now that I think about it. What's a botanist, y'all? So drop it in the comments. Goodness gracious, I'm not a gardener. I don't know nothing about flowers. Oh my goodness, you guys. Yeah, I really want to know what a botanist does and what botany is because I'm thinking it has something to do with flowers. Because I'm thinking botanicals. So I could be wrong. Somebody let me know. I'm sure somebody's going to let me know in the comments anyway. So please, somebody let me know. What does a botanist do? And what is botany? I could Google it, but I'm actually on the phone right now. Yeah. No, I'm not going to lie. These bubbles kind of make my skin crawl. I have a huge aversion to the way some things look clustered together. Like, I don't do well seeing, like, if somebody got stung by a bunch of bees, all the little welts on them, it will make me queasy. And that's what these bubbles on this tray were doing. They were kind of making me queasy, especially, I probably would have fine if I could have just, like, colored them real quick and just been done with it. But the longer I had to look at them, the more nauseated I got, and the more my skin crawled, and the more, I mean, it gave me that feeling like, fingernails on a chalkboard does for most people. Now that sound does not bother me, but this bothered me like the clinking of ice in a cup. I cannot stand the sound of ice hitting the side of a cup, so I do not use ice whatsoever. I don't care what kind of cup it is, glass, plastic, foam, cardboard, I don't care. That sound, oh, it sends me into outer orbit. I just can't. It's just too much for me. But that was the same feeling I was getting with those working on those bubbles, and it was just making me sick. Now looking in the camera at this point, it looks like everything's going really well. It's not. It's not. It's really not translating onto camera at this point. But I'm sure at some point it will. Yeah. The more I tried to fill in these spaces with the chrome marker, the less the chrome marker wanted to fill in these spaces. And it just looked terrible. And yeah, I wasn't having it. I tried 3 different size markers. I tried everything, y'all. It just wasn't working. It was driving me insane. Yeah. So my next thought was, well, I'm going to take a break from this. I'm going to walk away for a second. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to try something different. No. The different didn't work either. I thought, okay, I'll do the paint rub over and then wipe the excess off, because since these are dented in, I should be able to wipe the... Nope. Yep, you can see how far that went. So in hindsight, if y'all ever ran into the problem of no alcohol and you couldn't do, the pre-color, and you couldn't get anything to stick to it, how exactly would you fill in these little spaces? Let me know down in the comments, because at this point I'm just at a loss. And if somebody can help me out, I'll finish this in a later video. But yeah, no luck. It sucked. And yeah, that's it for this video. Please drop a like, comment below, let me know what you'd do different, how you'd fix it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and have a great day.